Hey everyone, Joe here from ActionX. Welcome to What's on the Tube, or welcome back if you are a loyal listener. Today I am going to be talking about, I know I should have some sort of witty banner. Also, if you're going to comment what's going on with my face, I honestly don't know. I literally went to work. My boss saw me and he commented, "Why do you have this on here?" Because this was not here when I left for work, and it's here now. I'm not using makeup to cover it because I do have acne in this area, which could be because of that, but well, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Anyway, so today we're talking about My Hero Academia Season 4 Shie Hassaikai Arc. This has been an arc that I have been very much expecting because of the anime, because obviously if you are a big My Hero Academia fan and you are an anime only like me, you are aware that the show went on a big hiatus from Season 3's ending to Season 4's premiere because of how, from what the manga people have described it to be, one of the biggest arcs, the biggest arc so far in the series, the longest one ever. So I understand that probably the anime team did want to give more time and attention to this specific arc instead of I'm pretty sure they could have had it out by April, but they probably would have had to rush a lot of things. And with now having seen the arc in its entirety, I feel like the wait was worth it. I feel like if they had, even if they taken we're going to delay it till 2020 itself, I'd be fine with that. Because the way this arc went, which is going to be a bit divisive on certain points. Also, I'm moving the mic a little bit towards me because it's not. And also, I really enjoy this arc a lot, and it's more My Hero Academia, which is something I love. My Hero Academia remains so far the only series where it could literally do a filler arc. I would probably watch the hell out of it and still enjoyed it. It's that good of a show, and we've had filler episodes before, and I already done the Season 4 premiere, which was kind of already not really the best episode to start out the review because literally it is a filler episode. It's not really connected to the main plot, and I get the reason why we get the filler these premiere filler recap episodes is because it's been a while since the last episode. There's also some newcomers to the series, possibly, who doesn't know who are these characters, and I don't know how Japanese television works in terms of their reruns. I don't know. I don't have the Japanese TV box. I don't know. Nor do I know the DVD collecting culture down there. So I could be wrong in that, but that's what I'm assuming based on my head. That pretty much these kids don't know what happened in the stories before, so they're trying to give some sort of recap with the characters, with their powers, and just barely be enough. But I do recommend rewatching the whole series from the beginning. I've probably rewatched this series, I believe, now 7 times. It's just that fucking good. And I'm pretty sure once Season 4 concludes again, I'll probably do another rewatch. This time going all the way to the end of Season 4. But right now, we're not talking about the rest of Season 4. We're talking about the main bulk Season 4 arc, the Shie Hassaikai Arc, which is also called the Overhaul Arc, or I don't know why a source was called the Internship Arc, which clearly wasn't an internship, but whatever. Those are bigger fans than me, and I feel how do I start this off? Because it's an anime arc. It's a bit different than how I usually normally do things. I guess I can start with because I'm going to skip over the premiere episode because I already did an episode on that. Check out that review. I want to see my thoughts on that. So we're just picking up directly from episode 2 to the beginning portion of episode 15. I think I believe I was going to record this before the last episode came out, but I opted to wait a little bit, just wait till after that was over and figure it out. And I think it was for the better because a good portion of episode 15, the one that just came out in Japan, has a little bit of remnants of finishing up the Shie Hassaikai arc before we get into the next arc. And so, thankfully, I did that. Let's just start with the opening. Man, the opening was bomb. It was I was gonna say horrible. No, that was. I'm jumpy today. I'm a little bit my emotions are a bit out of whack today, so I apologize. Hopefully, this will make for a better review, or not. And also, I'm sorry, my appearance is very not myself today. It's horrible. Anyway, and back to the intro. The opening song for this season is fan-freaking-tastic. I think I've heard the song, original form 50 times, I believe, not including listening to it when I'm watching the episodes, as well as watching countless of covers Though I don't think I've ever found a proper cover that, suits me. I don't think so, in my opinion. So, yeah, opening was amazing. I feel like a lot of people said that it's kind of, not as dynamic. It's more simplistic in certain places, which I could definitely see. I believe it's a bit difficult to do an opening for this story arc without spoiling certain things. Like in the season 3 opening, I guess they could have saved the All Might and All for One fight for another opening. They could have done that, but I think they really made it simplistic to the point. It's like, these are the main themes of the season. This is our representation in the opening, but we're not giving like specific key moment animations from it in the show, because I guess they were saving it for the actual episodes themselves. And immediately picking up from where season 3 ended off, this is definitely shifted to a new direction of the story, because I feel like the first majority of what we've seen last time in season 3 was definitely seeing Deku and him growing more as a hero, as well as coming to blows with Bakugo. It sounds weird to say Bakugo. I want to say Bakugan, but it's like, no, that's canceled, I think. I don't know, it's back. Fuck. Anyway, so this is kind of like, this was like a bit weird for me, because like I'm used to like seeing the rivalry between Deku and Bakugo take at least more of a focused attention. We see that more often throughout the season. We see Shoto, interacting a lot. We see Ida, Uraraka, all those characters. This feels like more isolated, which is a good thing, because we get a bunch of new characters in this. And the thing is that there was a moment in the opening where it's like, we see all these new characters. It's like, okay, we're probably not going to, like, in my opinion, we're not going to get development on half of these characters. But I'm honestly surprised how far into depth they went on certain characters, and how, majority, I'm going to say if all of them were all likable, all great, talents. I'm just letting you know, I am reviewing the dub versions. I only watch the dub. I only see the subs if we're behind, because I'm just impatient. I can't wait. Like, I could not wait for the real final battle of this arc, and it was like, oh my god, it was so good. But we'll get to that in a moment. We'll get to that later. Where was I? Oh yeah, so it was a bit weird to like kind of get that isolation, to see those characters, Bakugo, Shota, Ida, Mineta, Kamarai, all those characters kind of take a backseat to this arc, because like, okay, there's only so much attention we can go around. This is not a class 1A story arc. This is a Deku arc. And seeing the new guy, like especially Mirio, and everyone kept describing him as best boy. I don't know what the frick that terminology means. Like, he's amazing, he's awesome, and it's like, he is awesome. He's this OP character that could easily have become the star of his own manga, his own series. I would personally be down for it. Please, I don't want to butcher your name, author of My Hero Academia, so I'm not going to do it. But make a Le Million spinoff. Also, the name perfect, Le Million. It sounds French. It sounds Spanish. It's perfect. And his character definitely does remind us of a younger All Might, especially since we saw the movie Two Heroes and seeing briefs of that in season 3. So it was awesome to like kind of get that representation, to see like this could have been the real successor had things gone a different way. And there's a lot of points in this story, in the overall story, not just season 4 story, where we see moments of like, what would have been had it not been Deku's, like his luck and the destiny that he's been on this path. A lot of things could have been different had this not happened, or this not happened, or this moment didn't happen. So it was all incredible, and getting to see All Might in a new element. And again, it's like all the characters that majority of the characters we've been seeing throughout these 3 seasons take a really back seat in this arc, because All Might literally is in 2 episodes, and then he's gone for majority of the arc, and then he comes back at the end. So it was nice to like kind of get them to like, okay, we're pushing them in the right direction, but then we're gonna take a step back and allow them to do their own things. And I think that was pretty cool to like have that story beat, to have like these characters like try new things, be with new people, interact, grow as heroes in training, all that sort. And I love Mirio so much. Both subbed and dubbed. The actors who portrayed him is amazing, and they did a phenomenal job with the role. And getting to see his Go Lucky beat, and then we got to see him introduce Deku to what was said about the end of season 3 with Sir Night-Eye, and a lot of people have a lot to say about Sir Night-Eye. And I feel like, again, when I was in the very beginning rush My Hero Academia, when we were getting to the season 3 stuff, I did read occasionally, like, look ahead at, like, what our future characters look like, you know, stuff like that. And because I'm impatient again, I want to know what's happening next. And I could just read the manga, but I don't want to go to the city to buy the manga, and I'm too lazy. So guess what? Deal with it. Anyway, so getting to see that, as well as seeing certain, like, I was expecting his hair to be more greener, but I guess that was just one representation. Who knows? And getting to see, like, this new arc, this new portrayal, this new side of All Might's life that we haven't got to see before. Since we saw the Gran Torino portion, we see the David Shield portion from the movie. We got to see some of that, but we didn't really know, like, majority of, like, there's still a lot of All Might story we don't know. Like, we don't know, like, how did he transition from young All Might to, like, the one we know now? How did he evolve for his costumes? I want to see those stories someday. I really hope they do it, like, in some version, in the manga, the anime, the movies, whatever. I want to see that story. But getting to see a sidekick that All Might had, because, like, if you're assuming, like, the greatest hero in the world has a sidekick, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. I mean, again, I know that, you know, all superheroes should have sidekicks, but even, like, the strongest one, like, do they really need sidekicks? I mean, I think they're good enough on their own. And getting to see, like, I think the only, like, the first disappointment I have, which I guess could be, like, it's up to, like, interpretation of, like, if you liked it or not. For me, I would have liked to see more All Might and, you know, certain Night scenes that weren't just the flashback, the brief moment with the other flashback, and then obviously the conclusion. I would have loved to see maybe one more tense conversation between them. I guess that's just me wanting to, like, have these, like, build-ups of conflicts throughout the story. I guess it would have been awesome had we seen All Might going on the street and running into Deku being trained by Night Eye, and then all converting on each other and having, like, this argument. I would have loved to see that. I guess it made sense because, like, the characters, like, I feel like at the end of the day, both of them don't have any resentment towards each other, and they did say that later in the arc, but they did point out that there is, like, unresolved things there, and they don't want to resolve them anytime soon. So I think it made sense for them not to have any more scenes besides the flashback and their last scene together, but it was very much so that I still would have loved to see an extra scene between them. And, you know, we had to see new characters like Bubble Girl, and then eventually his other sidekick, Centipede, I believe that's the name. And it does go to show, like, how, like, we even see more of, like, Sir Night-Eye's character with it, even in his own hero agency. Very simplistic, nothing, like, super big, because we saw a lot of the hero agencies back in Season 2 during the internship arc, and we got to see how each of them, like, format and stylize their own areas differently. And, again, you know, they said this before, Hero Society, it's a very overpopulation of a career. You know, it's very difficult to make money off this career since everyone who has a quirk wants to be a superhero. So it's difficult to even, like, get money and stuff like that. And I always, this is probably just me as a person, I'm always curious on the finances of other people, especially in shows like in Pokemon. How do Ash always pays for his meal? How does Brock and the others, like, feed his ass and stuff like that? So I'm always curious, like, how do you get paid at Hero Society? Who's paying? Who's issuing these checks? I want to know. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that Sir Night-Eye's office, his hero agency, is very simplistic, very small, but it makes sense for his character since he's not trying to be a flashy superhero like All Might is. And that's another important attribute to make because, like, you assume, like, All Might's sidekick has to be flashy too. He has to be, like, you know, something similar, but nothing too similar because, again, he's not like Batman and Robin, like, you know, you say them together, it sounds right. It sounds great. And, you know, Robin is not a Batman clone. He doesn't have a cowl. He doesn't have, like, a full body armor. I mean, he does in some interpretations, but not in every one. And getting to see that in the story was, like, pretty cool to get some representation. And again, there's things that, like, you are missing when you're just reading the wiki pages. Because, like, I did not know Sir Night-Eye was an All Might fan. I did not know he was a fanboy. I didn't know because, again, his stare, his, you know, demeanor never comes off at that. And I guess it's another accurate representation of don't judge a book by its cover. Where he does look like a basic, average person, but in reality, he has this amazing power. He is this fanboy, stuff like that. And, you know, it was quite different than I was expecting, obviously, for me. And getting to see him like being conflicted because like he wanted to like give All Might a proper successor, but he never felt Deku was the right successor, and he wanted to prove him wrong by having him take this work study, not to make him better, but to make him realize you are not worthy of this power. You should give up. And getting to see, and then I guess we're gonna briefly dive into one of my my personal like dilemmas with this arc is that I personally. I think it's different because the problem is like when you're doing this in the manga, whatever pronunciation you want to call it, we spend more time with these characters because we're not getting like 30-minute chunks of these. We're getting like maybe a few pages a week, but we're still following along in this weekly format. Where with the show, we're getting all this compiled into 13 to 14 episodes, and I feel, and I know this arc in the manga took about over a year to produce. So I guess fans had a whole year to be with Night Eye, to learn him, to understand him. Where at least for me, when you're adapting this to an anime, now again, this could have been another one of those like had My Hero Academia had Studio X under Publisher X or Distributor X, they probably would have like put a lot more filler. They could have expanded this out to like 50 episodes or something like that, so we would get that year-long thing like the manga people did, and manga readers. I don't want to call you. Sorry, I'm gonna be accurate here. For me personally, I felt emotion at the last scene, the real final scene for this story arc, but I felt like for me, I felt like we didn't see enough of Night Eye's character for me to get that. Because we got the flashbacks, we got to understand his story. I get that, but I guess like I only saw him for like a maximum of like what 7 weeks, 8 episodes at best, and I didn't really like, we see more of his emotion, but he's kind of jumping around a couple places for me. And personally, this is my opinion, dude. I still love the story. I still love the character. I just personally, for me, I feel like they jumped all over the place with him a little bit, not too much, because that's just how I notice, and this is another example of how the anime is at moments better than the manga, because remember, the anime is produced much longer after the manga is out, so they're able to like properly seed in stuff throughout, like for future story, make a reference to like, oh, this is going to happen eventually, or this is going to be ported down the line. Like after Deku gets his work study officially approved, he gets to go back and tell his classmates, and he figures out that, oh, there's a Takoyami is getting recruited by the number 3 hero Hawks. Who is Hawks? I don't know. People keep saying he's this amazing hero who's going to play a big role in the story. I don't know who the fuck Hawk is. I don't know. Like, I know he's in the movie, the Heroes Rising movie. I haven't seen it at the time of this recording. I know he's going to be in later in season 4 in the next arc because I saw the intro. I'm presuming, is he the guy with the red rings? Is that him? I don't know. But the way like they ominously like put him in like this channel, like, oh my god, he's so dark. It's like they're obviously setting him up. So I can't wait to see this Hawks. I'm gonna take a brief drink. God, that's good tea. Where was I? Yeah, and then we get to the real conflict of this arc, and I think I missed an important scene where we got to introduce the villain of this arc, Overhaul. First of all, cool ass name for a villain, Overhaul, and the opening villain scene between him and Shigaraki, the guy with the hand on his face. Getting to see their conversation, it's like it was an amazing way to set up these two villains and establish they are villains in their own right, but they have different motivations, they have different techniques, where Overhaul is making so much sense. Now, before you yell at me, let me explain. I'm just talking about this specific scene. I think all his methods and methodology is horrible, but listen to me. He was right in his beginning speech where it's like, back in season 3, in the mid-season finale, we saw All Might and All for One, the leader of the good versus the leader of the evil. We saw them fight, and despite All Might winning the battle, he still lost. That was his final mission, his final victory. Both sides are leaderless. Who's going to step up and be the new leaders? Obviously, Shigaraki said, like, oh, I'm his successor. I'm the next leader. I get that. That's Understand? We know he's going to be the leader. We know that. I mean, obviously the manga folks already know what the hell's going on in the future now. We're probably not going to get that stuff till season 6, whenever the hell that is. But he is right. Overhaul is right. Like, you are not ready. You had Slain briefly. Well, they don't really know the truth about Slain, but whatever. Stain. Sorry, I don't know why I'm saying Slain. You had Muscular. You had that other weird toxic villain, which I don't get. I guess he was a big name. I don't know. But overall, made sense. Like, these could have been key points in your operation, and you lost all of them. You did shit with them. Apologies for my language. And he was right. And it showcased, like, Overhaul is this... Like, Overhaul could have been All for One successor. He has the motivation. He has the drive. He has the plans. But I guess for All for One's purposes, like, maybe the next villain leader doesn't necessarily need to be like that. He needs to evolve into something different. And that's what Shigaraki is there for, but he's not there yet. Overhaul stepping in to kind of like, you know, I have this opportunity. There's this opening. I'm going to take it. And that was a perfect way to set up his character. And then have him kill off one of the League of Villains' goons, and also take the arm of someone else, showcasing how powerful they are, was a great way to start this off. And so driving back into present to him now I'm catching up, getting to see him with Eri. Jesus Christ, the amount of times I've heard on the trailers say, we gotta protect Eri. Eri's important. We gotta protect this little girl. All kinds like, I don't know this girl. I don't know what you're talking about. And I felt very sorry for her. Like, when we got that moment during the big meeting, and where I figured out the plan, like, oh, how are they making these bills? Like, oh, no. They went there. This is something I was not expecting in a My Hero Academia story arc, where it's like, they're purposely admitting that a little girl's blood is being drained out of her veins to produce bullets. That is one of the most fucked up shits I've ever heard. And obviously, if any other TV show probably did this, they probably would have gotten some criticism over it. But the way My Hero Academia sets it up, it's like, they're not going too gruesome into the facts, but they're putting together all the pieces where it's like, even, I'm pretty sure, the simplest youngest audience members could figure out, what is this villain planning, and this is horrible, and this is inhumane. Where it's like, regardless of superpowers or not, you're not supposed to be doing this to a child at all. You're not. And I understand Deku and Mirio's motivations to like, okay, we failed to save her. Had we known, because like, I mean, even for me, it's like, personally, first of all, as a regular American citizen, had I been in Deku's shoes, had I seen this girl get knocked into my leg with no shoes, bandages all over her, just like one gown, I guess, one whole gown, you know, that stuff like that, I would have, and then see this conniving person with a mask, and this is kind of horrible timing to bring up masks since we're currently in the middle of the coronavirus issue at the time of this recording. Hopefully we don't have a problem with that after that, but I can't. So getting to see Deku, well, at least for me, if I was his issue, like, I obviously would have taken this away from him, because like, well, you're all dressed up professionally, and you claim this is your daughter. Why are you not giving her these clothes? Why? I immediately would have known. And again, obviously, these guys have just been told that this is a very dangerous motherfucker. He could easily, like, destroy you with one touch with his hand. He could. And that is a scary thought. But I still would have ran my freaking hardest to save this girl. I would have. And I understand, like, why they have to build up this take. They have to build up this reason. Like, the heroes were more focused on when we get to, like, the raid stuff. Their focus were on saving her. Because, not just because this is the right thing to do, but because if they take this girl away from him, he's not going to be able to do shit with his plan. And that made all the whole sense. And getting to see the revelation that, you know, we got to see another part. Like, again, this is another thing about All Might as a character. Like, I feel like they're setting him up to, like, his backstory is like, we're giving very vague plot points throughout his story arc because we have no interest in telling his whole story. Because you could easily tell a story with All Might. Like, even a limited miniseries, something like that. They could do that, but they don't want to. Like, I want to see the original All Might versus All for One fight. Maybe we will sometime in the future. Maybe we will. But currently, at this time, we're only getting, like, some of the before and then some of the after. As we get to some of the after in the main important flashback of the whole arc, where we see All Might just barely surviving his fight with All For One, but he doesn't want to give up being the hero because people still need to know their symbol is still there. Even though Night is protesting, no, if you continue, yes, you will be the symbol for maybe like a few more years, but then you're going to die. You're going to freaking die. People still need to believe that All Might is going to be there. He may not be there always. I mean, I understand All Might's philosophy, especially seeing two heroes, especially seeing throughout season 1 through 3. I get why he needs to be there. I get why he needs to be this symbol. I understand that. However, I feel like there could have been a compromise made where it's like, I'm taking something from Captain America Civil War, so brace yourself from this. We could have saved All Might for the big villain. There are hundreds of thousands of heroes out there. Any one of them could have taken on a minor villain. Like, have All Might only take care of the big important thing. That would have prolonged his inevitable retirement. It would have made a compromise where it's like, okay, Night Eye is gonna evaluate and pick, okay, you can go on this mission, but we're gonna send 10 other heroes to do these other smaller missions. So you can save your energy, save your time. That would have been a proper compromise. But I understand All Might, he needs to save everyone. He needs to be there, regardless of his injuries back then. But I also felt for Night Eye, because like, this wasn't a very important figure in his life, and seeing him die via his vision probably was a very horrible way to figure out that he's going to die. But I think he felt hopeless. Like, if I can convince him to not do the things he's about to do, maybe I can change the future. But it didn't work out that way. It didn't. And getting to see Deku learn about that. And I feel like Deku reminds me a little bit of me in certain aspects. Because like, he's trying to tell this person, listen, you're going to die someday, but can you not die now? Can you die when I am a hero? When I am, like, ready to keep the world protected? When I am ready to step up and be the next symbol of peace, then you can go whenever you want. Because then you'll know the world, you can rest now. Or I'm taking an endgame line there. And that would have been perfect, but obviously, they didn't. And All Might said, okay, I'm going to help you. I'm going to do this. I'm going to fight fate. I'm going to try and change, the future. And then we get to the more bulk of it. We get to see Red Riot kind of... Kirishima really took a big step forward. We got to see more of his backstory. We get to see more of his character, his Unbreakable mode, which was freaking awesomely animated. And Fat Gum, God, to have that representation. Again, I'm not for me personally, I'm not that... I'm gonna be bullish here. I was fat for majority of my life. I'm still a little overweight. I still am, but I'm definitely trying to slim down a little bit more. But it was still nice to get that representation. Even anyone could be a superhero. That's what I'm trying to say here. And seeing Fat Gum voiced by Kyle Herbert. Again, watching the dub here, so I'm referring to dub actors who played Gohan in Dragon Ball. Was unexpected great fit that I really enjoyed, and I really love that character so much. I really hope we get to see more of him in the future. I don't know anything about the manga, so hopefully I'll be surprised. So getting to see them and see him was awesome. Getting to see more of the big three, getting to see Uraraka and Sue kind of interacted with the Dragon hero. Dragon! I don't know what reference I was trying to make there. And then slowly started to see all these storylines combined to the main arc, to see Night Eye make this big... And again, it's another example where it's the manga had the benefit of dragging this on, but in a good process. Seeing the escalation build up. Where it's the anime, it's Night Eye's investigating a simple lead, and then we're okay, we gotta go after him right now. Because when I was going into this arc, I initially thought this was my initial expectation, where it's okay, they're gonna find a base, but it turns out to be a dud. And then they're going to get a second base, and then that's where it's going to be. I honestly thought that's what I was thinking going into, where it's they were going to fail the first time, they were going to fail the second time, but the third time, we're going to get them. And then getting to see everyone work together so well to quickly find the base, where we get the bulk of the action. And so many amazing animated action scenes there. And trying to breathe, trying to collect my thoughts, trying to collect my breath here and collect my thoughts. And the whole raid portion was, really amazing. Well paced, well done. Getting to see the League of Villains thrown in a little sprinkle. They didn't really take center stage in this arc. They really didn't. This was more of Overhaul's arc. And, there was a lot of cool moments getting to see, the wall shifter, which, honestly, the wall shifter guy could have easily ate it up to 15 episodes. They could have easily pad that shit out. Like, we're going to make 15 episodes of just them going for the main. They could have done that. I would have been bored, like, towards the end, but it would have been over by then, so, whatever. So, I'm skipping a lot of stuff here, to be completely honest with you, but, yes, but we still get a lot of cool fight scenes between, Tamajiki versus 3 of the bullets, the perception of bullets, I forgot their names, to be honest. Getting to see Red Riot and Fat Gun face off another 2 of the bullet people, and one of those, like, weird buff henchman dudes. I forgot the guy's name. He was kind of like a wrestler back in the day or something like that. He was kind of like Goku. Like, he's always searching for stronger opponents, something like that. And getting to see Rocklock. Rocklock just sounds like a cool guy. He sounds like a cool... Like, the voice actor did a really cool job portraying his voice, and I would love to see more of Rocklock someday in the future. I don't think he comes back after this point, but hopefully he will. And am I missing any other fight scenes? Yeah, so the League of Villains get introduced there. But then the big portion of the fight, you know, getting to see the first big one, Lemillion taking on not only Overhaul, but 4 generals at the same time. It's like, this guy is so OP, but with any OP character, there is a weakness, there is an unfortunate effect. Where for him it's like, for him it was when he got Eri back and he knew, like, okay, I gotta beat these guys, get the fuck out of here, but bring Eri with me. And then getting to see the Quark destroying bullets in action, where it's like, oh god, they could easily they can end him. And the guy who shot the bullet was like smart enough, like, okay, this guy is not gonna let Eri get shot, but we got him here. And even after we got the moment even when Mirio lost his powers, but still getting to see him fight, that's the courage of a true hero. Where it's like, it doesn't matter if you have powers or not, as long as you can fight and, you know, still do what's right, you're still a hero in my books. So getting to see that was pretty awesome. And a lot of people complain about the slideshow aspect. From what I understand, it's not in the manga, those fights. It just said, like, it just has a time cut where it's like 15 minutes later. And I guess, again, considering the fact, they waited so long for this arc, they should get this original animation. But honestly, the slideshow aspect worked for me personally, because it showcased, like, there was a massive passage of time. We understood that. And, you know, we got to see, like, the effect of, you know, Mirio doing his very best to try and keep fighting Overhaul without his powers. And then getting to see him get stabbed in the end, where it's like, even dead, he still was going to fight. And then Deku shows up and it's like, getting to see that moment where he just burst through the wall was like, fuck yes, rip his ass up. Getting to the next episode where we see the true bulk of the fight. Seeing Deku fight Overhaul. And seeing Overhaul's transformation. Like, Overhaul felt like Frieza for a good 5 moments there. Again, Night Knight's last moment, his last battle, and him accepting the fact that, oh crap, this might be the future. And Deku's just like, his determination to, like, no, this is not my future. There is no predestined future. I can break any future you see. And he does. He fights his damn best. And I think another powerful moment was, like, when we got to see Deku jumping the rocks to get to Eri at the very end, his last savior moment, with that music, which I guess it was both American and Japanese, I think. I'm not sure. That's the vibe I was getting. Getting to see him, like, have those final thoughts, trying to save her, and she finally accepting, like, all these people are trying to save me. I am worth something. I need to go to these people. There's still hope for me yet. And that was just so beautifully animated. That was so beautifully done. And seeing Deku, like, finally get pissed off, just like, you know, I'm never going to let her go. This guy has to go. And him briefly touching upon his true power, learning Eri's true abilities, and getting to see Overhaul's, like, gigantic form. And, you know, Deku realizing, okay, I gotta go fucking Super Saiyan his ass. And that anime. Oh my god, can we stop for a second? I want to give major shout out to the animators of this arc. Like, especially this battle. This fight scene took the cake. It really did. They did a phenomenal job with that. Whoever animated that scene, fucking bravo. Bravo. I felt every punch. I felt every shot. Perfectly well done. And even though we still got flashbacks in between the fight, it made sense. It worked. It flowed naturally because we got to see Overhaul's last moments of clarity before he got his ass whooped. And that last punch, oh man, was just so cinematic. It was so worth the wait. And even the resolution after that, seeing everyone kind of like jetting off to the hospital. Seeing Deku for once finishing a battle without a broken limb or without some sort of injury. That was just so cool to see. And I guess it was just acceptance that, some things you're meant to change, some things you're not meant to change. Where now I'm really feeling it, where seeing Night Eye like sadly go, getting to get one last moment with All Might, even though it's technically, I would have loved to see another moment between them before this. Seeing Deku and Mirio kind of like make amends with him. And see that, Night Eye's sacrifice will mean a brighter future. Will we actually get that? I don't know. We'll see what happens next. And we briefly get a little bit more in episode 15 where we see them trying to moving on to the next thing. Regardless, that another thing that after Overhaul was defeated, Shigaraki went to him and gave him a very traumatic lesson where it's like, you try to screw me over, I'm going to screw you over, I'm going to take your life's work, and I'm going to take away your arms. So you're going to be powerless in what's to come. You're going to have no involvement. Your dreams are dead. And that was the moment it's like, he took over. He just took back over his villain. It's his turn now. Overhaul was a great villain, but, it's Shigaraki's turn. He's going to take over now. He's going to make his next move. And getting to see Mirio like still not give up at the end, and getting to see everyone like, okay, Overhaul's over, the Shie Hassaikai is done, Aries saved. We need to go back. We need to like make some semblance of a normal life, and that picks up in the next arc. But we're just reviewing Shie Hassaikai, and for me personally, I love this arc. I really do. It's more My Hero Academia. They did this right. The animators did this manga arc right. A couple of criticisms, like I mentioned, throughout the whole recap or review or whatever you want to call it. But I still really enjoyed it. I cannot wait till like when season 4 is over, overall entirely, to binge everything and kind of like get everything together. And I guess some people were expecting the Shie Hassaikai arc to be this massive, like it could be a whole season. I personally never saw it. Like I personally didn't, because like if you consider like the last 2 episodes of season 3, the 14 and a half we saw this season, that's 16 episodes. And if you really want to include the filler, that's 17. So I think it was never in the cards to do that. And they never want to do like inappropriate filler. So even though I would personally love more filler, but yeah, they balanced this arc so perfectly, where we got to see the old characters mixed with new characters, push them in new directions, not include everyone, but still keep the tension high, with the new villain and such, and make for some memorable fight scenes that we'll still remember for hopefully seasons to come. And yeah, I love Shie Hassaikai Arc. I love that arc. It was well worth the wait, because the amount of times I told George, like, oh my god, it's a delay, we're getting pushed back, I can't wait till October, I know that's my birthday month, but I don't want to wait. But it was all worth it at the end. It was all worth it. I can't wait for the second half of season 4. I can't wait to see where the next arcs lead us. And that's it, yeah. It's great. 2 thumbs up. If I had a third thumb, I would give it, but I don't have a third thumb, but so 2 thumbs up best. Oh, that's the perfect time to wrap things up. Overall, I enjoyed the Shie Hassaikai arc, and I can't wait to see what's next in the story. I really can't wait. And yeah, that's going to do it for me, guys. So if you were unaware, this was What's on the Tube from ActionX. If you want to see more from What's on the Tube, please subscribe to ActionX for more episodes of this show. Please ring the bell for notifications when we have a new video live. Follow us on all the social media feeds, including our brand new Twitch channel, twitch.tv/ActionXGames. Also, follow, like, favorite, share the video if you please. I'll see you guys next time, where next time on the overall, okay, so brief aside before I wrap this up. So, will I do more My Hero Academia? I probably will. I probably will have more episodes with George reviewing the older arcs, and also getting into like the next arc, which I think it's called the Remedial Course arc and the School Festival arc. Whatever's next. After the next arc's over, I'll review it, but that's later on. But next time on the Saturday time suffer here on What's on the Tube. Remember, there's also Nancy Drew, where I review every episode of Nancy Drew's first season, as well as the rookie season 2, but that's later on. But if you are a Saturday nut for What's on the Tube, next time I will begin my journey to Katie Clean's world on the CW, the Riverdale spinoff. I'll see you guys then. But overall, if you're a My Hero Academia fan, thank you so much for watching. Go Plus Ultra, and peace out.